This video contains information that may be sensitive to viewers. Sometimes words or images can cause sadness or distress or trigger traumatic memories for people, particularly survivors of past abuse, violence, or childhood trauma. For some people, these responses can be overwhelming. If you need to talk to someone, support is available.
Hello, my name is Tanika Walker and I'm the Acting Executive Director for the Aboriginal Outcomes Division in the Department of Communities.
Hello, my name is Glenn Caton. I'm a Kalgadoon man and I'm also the Acting Director for the Aboriginal Outcomes Division in the Department of Communities.
The Department of Communities proudly acknowledges traditional custodians throughout Western Australia and recognises their continuing connection to their lands, families and communities.
We pay our respects to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people and cultures and to the elders past, present and emerging.
The engagement sought today is to inform a Department of Communities project to ensure the Department of Communities continues to work towards being more culturally competent in developing policies and practices and delivering services to Aboriginal people, children, families and communities.
Due to COVID-19 and the related restrictions, we have been unable to travel and conduct face-to-face community engagement as hoped earlier this year. The Department of Communities, in partnership with the Department of Communities Aboriginal Cultural Council, has developed this video to engage with the WA Aboriginal community.
The Department of Communities acknowledges that it has already spoken with some of you about this project. The Director General of the Department of Communities thanks you and appreciates your patience through this further round of engagement. Throughout the first part of this video, you will be hearing about the background information on the Aboriginal Representative Organisations project.
During the second part of this video, you'll be hearing from the Department of Communities Aboriginal Cultural Council member for your region, who will be asking questions to seek your feedback from the community to help inform the project.
There are a range of options of how you can share your feedback with the Department of Communities. This information is explained at the end of this video.
In this part, we will be discussing the Aboriginal Representative Organisation project. In 2017, a review of the Children and Community Services Act was conducted for the Minister for Child Protection. This included reviewing sections of the Act that are specific to Aboriginal children, families and communities.
The review was conducted by the then Department for Child Protection and Family Support. It received 37 written submissions and the Minister for Child Protection tabled a final report of the review in Parliament in November 2017. Community engagement with Aboriginal people and organisations occurred during the review itself and also in May to June 2018, which you may have been a part of. Since then, a bill to amend the Act has been drafted and is now being considered by the Parliament of Western Australia.
Aboriginal representative organisations will aim to be place-based and through their contributions will support family and community and cultural connections when planning for Aboriginal children in the care of the CEO. The changes proposed in this bill will improve the Act by making stronger requirements for external consultation under Section 81 of the Act when making a placement arrangement for an Aboriginal child in the care of the CEO and stronger cultural support planning requirements for Aboriginal children. Please note that the Director General for the Department of Communities is the CEO.
The bill, currently sitting with Parliament for consideration, proposes that before making a placement arrangement for an Aboriginal child, the Department of Communities must consult with all three of the following: an Aboriginal person or Torres Strait Islander who is a member of the child's family, and, subject to the regulations, an approved Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander representative organisation, and an officer who is an Aboriginal person or Torres Strait Islander who, in the opinion of the CEO, has relevant knowledge of the child's family or the child's community. If, because of urgency or for other reasons, consultation with all three of the criteria mentioned isn't able to take place before the child is placed with someone to stay with, the consultation must happen as soon as possible afterwards.
Consultation under Section 81 will involve helping the Department of Communities to identify potential placement options for an Aboriginal child so they can be considered. This will increase the likelihood of finding a suitable placement with family or at least with an Aboriginal person in the child's community or as close to the community as possible. These will be the priorities of the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Child Placement Principles under Section 12 of the Act. It's the Department of Community's job to assess which of the options are best for the child's safety and well-being, taking into account the views of the child's parents and other factors.
In other words, this consultation will not involve a child's family or an approved Aboriginal representative organisation making either the decision about whether the child should be placed in the care of the CEO or the final decision about who the child is to live with. These are the Department of Community's responsibility.
All Aboriginal children in the care of the CEO must have a plan about how their connection to culture is going to be kept alive, known as a cultural support plan. Cultural support plans include information about the child's cultural connections and the activities that will help them stay connected to their cultural heritage and country.
Section 89A in the bill says that subject to the regulations, an approved Aboriginal representative organisation must be given an opportunity to participate in preparing a cultural support plan for an Aboriginal child and their annual review. The child's parents and other family are also involved in cultural support planning. It is likely that the bill will be finished in Parliament by the end of 2020.
If the bill is approved, it is anticipated that the Aboriginal representative organisations will not become law until the Department of Communities and Aboriginal representative organisations are ready for them to start operation. This may take some time.
To recap, Aboriginal representative organisations will be organisations approved by the CEO of the Department of Communities, which must be consulted when the department is making a placement arrangement for an Aboriginal child in the care of the CEO, and provided with the opportunity to participate in the development of the child's cultural support plan. This project will help to identify what criteria should be used to approve Aboriginal representative organisations and what an Aboriginal representative organisation might look like in your region.
Kaya Kaya, Wanju Wanju. My name is Julie Hayden. I'm a Gurang Yoga from the Great Southern Region of Western Australia. My cultural footprint goes right through to the Western Desert. And I would like to acknowledge my elders, past and present, who have fought very hard and put in a lot of hard work for us standing here today. I am also a member of the Department of Communities Aboriginal Cultural Council. In part 2 of this video, I will now be asking for your feedback and thoughts on the Aboriginal Representative Organisations project. There are 2 questions I would like you to think about, and you can provide your answers in various ways, which is explained at the end of this video. The 2 questions are, what should the criteria be to become an Aboriginal representative organisation in your region? For example, local and cultural knowledge, Aboriginal community controlled organisation recognised by community, and how do you think an Aboriginal representative organisation should be run in your region? For example, what should the governance structure be like? Should there be more than one Aboriginal representative organisation?
Following your feedback, the Department of Communities will develop options for the WA Government to consider. Once feedback is collated, the Department of Communities will consider a second phase of engagement in partnership with the Department of Communities Aboriginal Cultural Council to co-design per region.
There will be a range of factors that will be considered, including the importance of place-based solutions and supported sustainable resourcing. Please note that feedback will inform the Aboriginal Representative Organisation project for planning purposes only, and no individuals will be identified in collated feedback.
There are different ways you can provide your feedback to the questions in this video. For example, complete a survey which includes the same questions asked in this video. To access the survey, please click on the link below this video on the webpage. Feedback can be provided in a group or as an individual. You can also choose to provide feedback over the phone by speaking with a member of the Aboriginal Outcomes and Partnership team at the Department of Communities. Please contact the Aboriginal Outcomes and Partnership team to arrange a suitable time or to discuss other options of how to submit your feedback. Please provide your feedback as soon as possible and before Monday, 24th of August 2020. Thank you for taking the time to watch the video and providing your valuable feedback to this important project.